The second movement is called the horrid picture, a peculiar institution. We're referring to the institution of slavery, of course. Important to the South because it was free labor, picking cotton and growing tobacco and such. And the profits were huge. Anytime you don't have to pay your employees, well, a peculiar institution indeed. Abraham Lincoln, the reason this is called a horrid picture, was working on a boat going down the Mississippi. And although he had abhorred the institution of slavery, he had never come close to an instance of slaves being sold. The boat that he was working on pulled over to the side, and it just so happened that they were selling a family. They weren't selling this African family as a whole. Selling them at all is a bad thing, isn't it? But they were selling the dad off in one direction, the mom off in another direction, and the kids off in two other directions. A horrid picture. How do you portray such a feeling in music? With great difficulty, in fact. I relied heavily on the African American experience as I wrote this piece. The African American experience in terms of music. Rather than trying to portray the music that was popular in the day of Abraham Lincoln, I thought the one common denominator that carries us through from Lincoln's time to today was the Negro spiritual, the slave hollers, the songs that were heard in the fields, the songs that were heard on Saturday night, the songs that were heard on Sunday morning. So you'll notice that throughout the piece, although contemporary harmonies sneak in and out, basically gospel, blues, jazz, of course, is heard. There's some solos that are played that are mournful, that carry through. This horrid picture that Lincoln saw, it conjured up in him not only these, but there were thoughts of confusion. Never heard of it. But through all of that, we go back to the horrid picture. Horrid. What you hear here, of course, is the 88 keys. They all sound like keys of the piano. Sorry. But in person, you'll hear the horns, you'll hear the trumpets, you'll hear the clarinets, the woodwinds, the saxophones. You'll also hear D. Alexander's voice. Not singing lyrics, but in the tradition of Duke Ellington's arranging, doing coloratura, ad-lib sounds using vowels. So, you can imagine the horrid picture ends as you would figure a horrid picture would end.